interesting enough, the team that went with a receiver was Kevin Dyson, goes to the Tennessee Titans. That was Kevin Dyson was 1 yard short in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Imagine if the Tennessee Titans instead said, you know what, we're going to go get Moss, and then they would have had Steve McNair with Eddie George and Randy Moss. And that would have been a Randy Moss stretching that would have made that touchdown, and they would have won that Super
The
Bowl.
game wouldn't have been that close to
It
begin.
would have been a whole different
Yeah, they
thing.
wouldn't
So
wouldn't have
nobody
needed the
ever
stretch.
brings up that, like, I've never, until then, I never thought about it. I've never heard anybody mention this. Everybody was talking about the Cowboys. That was the team right there that should have.
Wasn't that against the Rams too?
It was against
Yeah,
the Rams. Yeah.
Against the greatest show on turf. Yeah, buddy, we're back again. Cinco Squad 84, episode 84. With me are my brothers, Trey Day, Grandpa J, Mike A, and I'm Jonathan Sawyer. Fellas, welcome to another week of Cinco Squad. Looking forward to a great week of sports. I mean, college basketball's back. Diaper dandies. Mike Green. Bang! I can't wait. Bill Walton out in the Great Lakes of Oregon doing his thing out there. I can't wait for another year of college basketball, fellas. We already seen a big upset alert on Michigan State's campus. Jamie, Grandpa Jay, how you like your Wildcats over there, boy?
I mean, it's back to that
Number one recruiting class. Come on, bro.
phenomenal freshman on the court again. We might have as much as 5 diaper dandies on the court at one time this year. I'm happy for it. This is what Calipari has been successful with in his career. So maybe he could take us back to the promised land. I think college basketball is wide open this year.
Yes, I agree. Mike, how you feeling about your UNC or Notre Dame? Which one are you liking now?
Yes. No, okay, so for those out there that don't know, for college football, it's Notre Dame, UNC. For college basketball, it's UNC, Notre Dame. That's just how it works with me. It's a long story as to why that I won't get into.
We'll share that story in a future video.
We will share that story in a future video. However, we're looking at our North Carolina Tar Heels.
Friggin' confused.
with the exact opposite of Jay's Kentucky Wildcats. We are led by 60-year-old Armando Bacot
Right.
in his 27th season at the school. No, somehow he's only been there 5. I don't know how.
Him and Dean
I'm
Smith.
so tired of that.
Him and Dean Smith share the most time on a North Carolina campus.
Yeah, you just wait till Bacot's the new coach after Davis.
It was like leaders in games. It was like Armando, Jim Boeheim. Like it's like right
Yep.
there.
It's neck and neck
in the ACC right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm so tired of seeing it. I'm so tired of the COVID year. Seeing guys come back for like 10 years. It's annoying. I'm just like, get it out of here. Like, just go. You're not going to the NBA. You're not going anywhere. Like, just go. But it's been an interesting few games. And we had Oregon and who was it? Oregon. Who was the first game of the year? It was the first game, 1 p.m. game.
Georgia. Oregon, Georgia
to open up the year. That was pretty interesting in Vegas. And then we unfortunately didn't get to see Bronny James because he is not cleared to play. They said he's supposed to be cleared to play in December after his final appointment with his cardiologist. At the end of the day, we all look at him as, I don't care if you play basketball. We just want you here. So,
exactly.
So,
Mikey, hold on. Your FAU Owls on the court tonight. 13-point win over Loyola. Number 10 seed. You think they're going to hold up in that top 10 all year long? I mean, it looks like they could run away with the conference.
I'm going to stick with what we had back in March. The Owls fly on. No, I genuinely hope that they have a really successful year because they're just a fun team. They're a fun program. And I'm glad that they were able to bring back a majority of the guys that were on the team.
I'm glad they respected their ranking and realized it's not a fluke season and they can compete with any team in college basketball too. So
they returned everyone. They returned everyone, especially and in the other team that beat the number 1 seed Purdue, Farley Dickinson, as Mike and I said in college. But they're returned a lot of guys. They beat Buffalo up in Buffalo. Buffalo's a good team. They're probably a tournament team this year. So it's going good. Trey, how's it looking on your end from college basketball ranks?
Well, I mean, everybody knows me. I've watched for prospects,
I know.
So I'm a wait and see process here because I've watched for prospects. I don't really have a certain rooting interest or anything that's hardcore. I mean, if Ohio State does good, that's great. But I'm here for the prospects. I'm here to see who's going to be in the NBA. So I'll keep you all.
Lots of room on that Kentucky bandwagon this year.
No, it's always I always watch a lot of Kentucky. There's always a lot of prospects there. You know,
if everyone didn't know, Trey is Rob Pelinka's right hand man. So he goes to Trey. Trey's like, yeah, I think you should go Bronny James first pick. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I'm
It just makes sense.
Now, let me get your take on this real quick because I know we haven't really never talked about this, but do you think Bronny James is going to translate once he gets on the court, right? Like once he gets back from all this cardiac stuff, like do you think he'll translate good on the court and be what everyone's hyping him up to be? Because I think that's been the biggest question mark. Is he hyped up because of his name, or is he got talent?
I think he'll be okay. I don't think he's gonna be great. It's Bryce. If anybody watches film knows Bryce is the one of LeBron's kids is probably gonna be the guy. Bryce is already bigger, a little more muscular. He's quick. He has a good shot. Bryce is the one. Bronny will be all right. I don't think Bronny's gonna be bad. I just think when it's all said and done, that's gonna be it's kind of like I liken it to the LaMelo and Lonzo thing, where Lonzo's a pretty good player, but it's the next brother that's the guy.
Yeah, and that's what I see from him. And I watched, a lot of his games. The last is in his senior year, and then I watched the McDonald's All-American game, and he can shoot, like lights out, like catch, shoot, boom, off the dribble, boom, and it's impressive. So he may be. I think people were what they're looking for Bronny is that force of nature that LeBron is, and that's just not who he is. He's just a shooter, So, Mike, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say it's actually funny, Trey, when that question came up from John. That's what I took it to as well as the Ball brothers, and I think like the Ball brothers, it's like just because the younger brother is so good. Let's not lose sight of the fact that the older brother still has talent and still is a guy that you can. I think Bryce, like you said, is going to be the more natural talent. He's going to be the more like explosive LeBron, like, making a huge impact immediately. But I think Bronny is the type of basketball IQ type player that can shoot that is going to continue to get better. He's not a one and done. I don't think he's a one and done type, even though, that might be, depending on how he looks, that might be what he ends up being. But I think he's the type of guy that, whether it's in college or the pros, can continue to develop his game as time goes on. And we'll see a better Bronny in 5 years than we will now.
I don't think any of them last for 5 years. And the reason I say that is because they're going to live under the shadow of their dad. They're not going to be able to evade that shadow. The talk will always come up as per, are they going to take that next step where they prove that they can take over the league like that if they show any signs that they're dominant in one game? And because they'll never be able to live outside of that shadow, I think the pressure gets to them. By year 5, none of them are still going to be in the league.
Really?
Damn, you sound like that one guy in the comments right now saying that if Gretzky played in this era, he wouldn't make it to 25 and be in this. Being
Switzerland. They said Switzerland.
No. That guy is disrespecting somebody who is the already proven greatest of all time. Right? I'm saying that they're coming under the wing of who a lot of people proclaim to be the greatest ball player of all time. That's a hard act to follow.
Yeah, and especially the points. But fellas, when I look at points and numbers and everything, the thing that's been going off lately is what's on Mike's mind. And I want to hear another week of that. So, Mike, take it away with what's on your mind.
Well, it just so happens this week that I had a little bit of help. I had a little bit of somebody point out a little fact to me this morning, and he happens to be in the middle of the 3 boxes to my camera right. That would be Grandpa Jay. Grandpa Jay sent me a little fact earlier this morning, and it's too good to not use. So, we all know Arthur Smith, right? Atlanta Falcons head coach.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Atlanta Falcons head coach. So, depending on how you feel about him, some people say he's a good coach. Some people say he's not a good coach at all. So, depending on how you feel about him, you might like this fact, you might not. And that's this, that Arthur Smith, head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, would be rich no matter what he did. If he never stepped foot on a football field, let alone an NFL field, he would be rich. You know why? Because his father, Fred Smith, is the founder and former CEO of FedEx.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, yeah, Arthur Smith comes from money. Fred Smith, recognized as one of the greatest transportation tycoons in history. Founded FedEx. So yeah, Arthur Smith, rich.
Well, then why is my package 2 days late? God damn it! No.
Because why do we? Actually, you know what? No, actually, in April, Fred Smith, Arthur Smith, whoever we need to address in the Smith family here, why did we have to track down a FedEx truck to get our equipment? What happened? Real. I want an answer.
Is this where we plug UPS? Is this where we plug UPS on the show now? Come on, UPS, give us this one.
No, Amazon. We gotta go. We gotta go to the top.
Amazon.
Yep.
That's pretty impressive, though. I mean, I actually heard that on the McAfee show. I did hear that. I heard him say it, and he's like, is this true? Because Arthur Smith comes on weekly. So,
every week it would be like the only coach that should deliver that can't deliver, right?
That's so perfect. That's great.
I wrote this.
I mean, that's how bad.
I just imagine players. Coach, I ordered some beets last week. They still aren't here yet. Can you talk to Daddy and tell him to have him talk to the board and see if we can speed this up a little bit? But you know what? We never want to speed up because they're always good picks. Jamie's locks of the week. Jay, take it away.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your locks of the week. So last week we went 2-1. It was looking great. All of a sudden, Dobbs shows up in a Vikings uniform, has no idea who he's throwing the damn ball to, but still probably has one of the best games of his career, literally showing up in Minnesota 2 days before he plays the game. And the guy throws he has a gem of a game, like I said, and guides them to a victory over Coach Smith's Atlanta Falcons. Thank you very much for that one, Joshua Dobbs. So he would have had a perfect week, except Dobbs continues to prove no matter what jersey he has on, he's better than we give him credit for. 2-1 last week. We're trying to make it a perfect week this week. So, as you guys know, Mr. Trey Day brought it up in his rant, and I don't really like the conditions of what these courts look like in the in-season play in the NBA because, we're not really sure what this in-season tourney is all about, but we're getting a glimpse of it, and whether you like it or not, it seems like the immediate future of the NBA. Here's what I know, though. Celtics look like one of the best teams in the NBA. I think the Celtics are gunning to try and win this tournament. So on Friday night, start your weekend off with a win. Celtics over the Nets. Take that on the money line. Celtics win pretty easy in that one. Then let's over to Saturday with some college football. Disappointing loss last week in Bedlam. Oklahoma gets beat last minute. Oklahoma State steals the game from them. They'll be taking on West Virginia. West Virginia ain't a good football team. Oklahoma, they're spotting them 13 points. Take that all day long. Oklahoma's going to win by at least 3 touchdowns. It's going to be a big bounce-back win for them. Everything right now is impress the committee and do everything you can to try and reposition yourself so at least you make it to a January 1 bowl. On Sunday, we got to take it across the pond because I don't like nothing right here in the United States, nor do I like that garbage of a game taking place in Frankfurt, Germany. So the Arsenal will be taking on Burnley at home. It's one of the most lopsided games of the weekend. Arsenal is going to win this by 3 or 4 goals. If you have a chance to take them by 2.5, do that. If you can get them on 1.5, do that as well. No way Arsenal loses this game at home. So if you want to go perfect this weekend and win every single day and just hedge your bet every other day, on Friday night, take the Celtics over the Nets. On Saturday, take Oklahoma to destroy West Virginia. And on Sunday, if you like what I call the real football, go ahead and take those Arsenal Gunners to beat Burnley at home by at least 3 goals. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are your locks of the week. You can thank me on Monday.
Jay, were you undefeated last week?
I was 2-1, thanks to Mr. Bucks.
So 5-1 in the last 2 weeks.
Right.
If you took Jay's picks, you'd be 5-1.
You'd be
5-1. So you'd be up right now. So take his picks, get some money, buy us a studio, and be our CEO. So let's get it, goes.
At least a mic. Come on, at least like an A61 Sony or something. Just hook us up.
Something, yeah.
So points don't matter, huh? Oh, okay. So when we're talking about players from another era, those points and accomplishments don't matter. Interesting, right? This is stemmed from Mike's post earlier in the week from his What's on Mike's mind is talking about Connor McDavid and passing the great one, Wayne Gretzky's points record. A lot of the comments were, oh, points don't matter in that era because they were scoring higher goals than they are now. Okay. Or if Wayne played in this era, he'd be out of the league. Okay. So I hear this in a lot of sports when we're talking about sports in general. And it really irritates me because don't you think if the guys had even football, basketball, baseball, any of those players, if they had the technology that they do now, the training ability, everything, the cameras, to be able to like put cameras all over your body while you're doing your training for swinging a bat, hitting a hockey puck, doing anything, catching a football, throwing a football. We've watched guys transform their whole arm technique. Don't you think those players would have worked just as hard? So I don't know why we discredit the former era. When I look at the former era, they set the ground rules of what today is. Connor McDavid talks about how he used to emulate his game after like Sidney Crosby and Wayne Gretzky and how he had the vision on the ice. For all you who don't know about Wayne Gretzky was known for his vision on the ice. Yes, he was a goal scorer, but if you look at his statistics, most of his points came from assists. He could find a player on the ice anywhere he could find them. So when people start discrediting former eras, when we talk about the Jordan era, he was just running through everyone. The most physical era, in my opinion, in basketball. When you talk about Joe Montana, he played in that era. He was just dominant over everyone. Okay, Lawrence Taylor, all those greats, right? When you look at those guys, and then you compare them to the guys today, those guys were the creme de la creme of their era. Don't you think that they would have put in the work if they had the opportunity to? They put in the work back then, and look where it got them, to a Hall of Fame status. You can't argue facts. Facts are this. Wayne Gretzky holds the points record. Jerry Rice holds the yards record. When we're talking about players passing them, it doesn't matter what era they went in. They did it, right? And that's still an accomplishment. So let's stop bashing these older players because they played in a different era, or these players that play in this era. It's an accomplishment. LeBron passing Kareem is an accomplishment. So give them their flowers and let's go. All right, fellas. So when we're looking at the college football ranks,
Yes.
not everyone is bowl eligible right now.
Mm-hmm.
And 51 teams currently are bowl eligible, but there are 82 spots still open. So my question to you guys is, what should the criteria be for bowl eligible games from here on out? Mike?
So, yeah, it's a little startling to see the fact that we're this late in the regular season going into coming very close to conference championship games, and we still have 31 bowl spots to fill.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, I think the one thing that stands out to me of the criteria that I would change at least is currently as it stands, Jacksonville State and James Madison are ineligible for the bowl season because they moved from the FCS to the FBS and they're still under restrictions. If they're a good team, let them play in the bowls. Like, that's my thing. Like, I don't understand why they're restricted because they were so good that they moved up into like the highest level of play. So that's something I think should be taken away from the criteria, is this FCS teams get punished for moving up a level if they're good enough. My other thing is this. The reason why we have so little bowl eligible teams is really because we have a lot of teams that are below 500.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're gonna run into this problem again, or even more than before, starting next year when these conferences are super conferences and full of amazing teams. You're gonna get a bunch of teams that have 4 losses because the competition is gonna be that much higher. So for me, for bowl eligibility, I get you don't want like the 7-8 loss teams, but these 5 and 7 teams that are in competitive games, you got a shit ton of bowls to play. You don't got to put them in a New Year's 6. Put them in a lower level bowl. At least let them play in a bowl game if they have a decent season. So that's just me. Like, lower the standards of this record and allow these if you have a great record, let them play. I don't care if they moved up or not.
I mean, looking at that, I mean, the way I see it is we should eliminate the bowl games because we're already going to 12 teams next year, which already they're 12 teams. So we're already going to have the New Year's Six back, which are going to be more important, which is something that everyone cared about. So eliminate the bowls, make it meaningful to make the criteria 8-4, 9-3. You know why? Because those are better games you're going to watch. Now, not necessarily because of everything that's been going on with college football. So there's a double-edged sword here, right? So you're going to do that, right, and have probably better games. But you also may not have better games because a lot of these teams, a lot of the players may sit out for the draft. So you're going to have a double-edged sword no matter what you look at. But wouldn't you want 2 9-3 teams going at it versus 2 6-6 teams? I mean, that's the way I look at it. Eliminate the bowl games and scale it back to, a certain amount. Now, the other side of it is these schools get money. So Jackson State, they could do a lot with that $1 million, $2 million that they're getting to go play in that bowl game. So a lot of these teams, the lower level teams, can take that money and re-put it back into the school, re-put it back into the athletics department. So I see why they do the bowl games, but for visibility watch, I mean, we got the Cheez-It Bowl, we got the Bahama Bowl, we got, Toilet Bowl, whatever, cereal bowl game. I don't know what the hell we have at this point.
So
many goddamn bowls at this point. It's just like,
let me take it over from you. That's exactly my point, right? That's exactly my point. Why the hell do we have 43 freaking bowls? If you cut it down to 30 right now, we'd be only hoping for 5 more competitive teams to be in. So let's go down the actual list. Myrtle Beach Bowl on December 16th. See ya. New Orleans Bowl. Keep it. New Orleans is fun. Cure Bowl in Orlando. See ya. New Mexico Bowl. Get out of here. LA Bowl in SoFi. Why are 2 crappy teams playing in SoFi? Independence Bowl in Freeport. Don't need to be there. Bahamas Bowl. Take me there all day long. I want to be in the Bahamas Bowl, but here's the thing. Why is it being played in North Carolina? How stupid is that? Bahamas Bowl. Played in the Bahamas. Frisco Bowl. Get out of here. Boca Raton Bowl, get out of here. Birmingham Bowl, see you later. Camellia Bowl, what the hell? Famous Idaho Potato Bowl, 68 Ventures Bowl. Are you freaking kidding me? Let's just make these bowl games more relevant. Get rid of 13 of them. Now you have 30 bowls. And here's what I would propose. Let the kids go home and enjoy Christmas. Bring them back after Christmas time. Prepare them for the week. And then in between, when you have your New Year's 6 bowls and you're about to go into the next week of playoffs, played in that week. So you're just filling the whole week up with football. You got bowls on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then let Saturday and Sunday open up for the NFL again and more competitive bowl games. So you just get an enormous mouthful of all the football you can get. So everybody who's looking forward to the new year would be just overwhelmed with football. Nobody's going to go to work the first week. You're going to see Q1 numbers look like shit because productivity from January 1 to January 7 is going to be absolute crap. And now we're talking about a real week of football that you can't get enough of. And that's what I'd love to see. But you think they're going to do it? Fuck no. You know why?
It's all money. Regardless, those schools fans are going to travel there. I agree. All the bowl games that are in the north, and you're going to, say you're a Southern school going to north. Why the hell would I want to go to the Pinstripe Bowl in New York City in January? Why would I want to go to Idaho on my vacation, winter break from school? You tell me I'm going to the Bahamas? Cool. That's a vacation. That's something I don't get all the time, right? You go to LA? Okay, I haven't been to LA. That's nice. You go to New Orleans? Haven't been there. But you're telling me I got to go to Idaho? I got to go to New York City? I mean, New York City is a nice city, but
in January, it's
you got a chance of 10 feet of snow or 10 degrees, So I agree with you 100%. But they're never going to change it. That's the problem. But it would make for so many better matchups. And you get, in my opinion, you raise the stakes for the bowls. So you cut the bowls out. And Trey, I'll go to you in a second. But you cut the bowls out. You raise the stakes of the bowl game. So it means more for the school. Say it's $5 million in NIL money or something like that, right? That's spread across the entire athletic program. Now your school has something to play for, right? You do an incentive like that allows them, and you have a good game. Trey, I'm interested to hear your point on this.
Well, yeah, I pretty much already said all my points.
Okay. My bad.
No, I mean, yeah, really. I mean, no, we don't need an LA Bowl hosted by Gronk. I mean, we have a Duke's Mayo Bowl. I don't know what that necessarily does. The Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Tony the Tiger apparently now has a bowl game. Pop Tarts has a bowl game.
They're great.
So no, I mean we don't. To me, my thing is just cut the shit down to like 20 bowl games and call it like a wrap. Like last year, the first bowl game of the season was UAB at 6-6 playing against Miami of Ohio at 6-6. Who gives a fuck about that? Like that sounds terrible. Nothing
Fans
about
of
that sounds
UAB
entertaining. I guess the couple things, I guess I would make the requirement at least 9 wins for sure. Like if you don't got 9 wins, you shouldn't be here. It should be a reward, not 6-6. That is mediocrity. That is average. That at the point of a bowl used to not be average. We used to like to have the whole January 1st was a big thing, but then they start spreading it out. They start the bowl season on like December 14th or some shit. The only thing I will say, I guess, and I guess it kind of goes back to what Jamie was saying with the gives them Christmas off. That ain't gonna work because the truth is these coaches ain't gonna let them kids go home. They gonna make them stay anyway. So you may as well just keep playing it that way the same because what's gonna happen is they gonna have a Christmas Day practice because the coach is gonna be like, our 6-6 Miami of Ohio Red Hawks need to play UAB and we need to win on December 27th or the January 1st. It's like who gives a damn about that? So they need to just cut the shit down to 20, like for real. Yeah. Just cut the shit down to 20 bowl games. Make it a 9-game win to get in. Make this mean something.
But Trey, to that point, what makes a lot of sense? We keep a top 25 ranking for a reason, right? Maybe the reward is you finish in the AP top 25, and then you have your 12, then make that portion of the playoffs, and then the other 13, and then you do your last team in. So you have a 14 team setup, and then you just have them play each other based on however you mix it up, right? Because you don't want interconference. So you want SEC and an ACC and a Pac-12 and a Big Ten or whatever it is. So take that whole pool of the remaining 25 plus that last team in. And then now the reward is, hey, you finish the season ranked in the top 25. And all likelihood you would have won 9 games to do that, like you just said. And that's your reward. You're fighting to be in the top 25, right? So it would make sense that you reward the teams that end up as the teams who finish ranked. And then I don't know how they're going to decide that one team left, but they do it in basketball or whatever analytics they use, whether they start doing quad 1 wins and whatever you want to use. Yeah. But that would be a nice way to say, look, your school gets that Benjamin reward, gets all those Benjis at the end of the year because you finished as a ranked team.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Or maybe it's something like one of those schools like Jackson State or something plays and fills that 14th slot, right? If they go and play that team, they're going to probably get killed, but, they go and play that spot. Like, for instance, last year, Syracuse went 6-6. They started off hot 6-0 and then dropped 6 straight. Why do they deserve to get in the playoff, right? And in my opinion, they didn't because they played the worst football. They played terrible, and then they went in the bowl game and looked terrible because they had a bunch of injuries. So why do we want this? I agree with Trey. And I also just think you should make it an incentive for the players to actually play the game, right? I get some of them are going to go to the draft, so that's some of them, right? But why wouldn't they want to have like, oh, shit, if I play this, that means, I don't know, the women's basketball team gets an extra, $100,000 of NIL money, or the men's soccer team gets an extra $100,000 of NIL money. They may be playing for their classmates in a way, in a sense. You know what I mean? Just kind of like incentivize it that way, where they get an extra $100,000 of NIL money that incentivizes those guys to play.
But so I like that idea if we're cutting down bowl games because there is a lot. My whole thing was that, like, if we're keeping all these bowl games, you have to lax some of the requirements simply to fill them. If you're going to keep all these bowl games, but I'm in favor of cutting down the bowl games. But that 9-win minimum, okay. So if that were to be this season, right? Do you let James Madison play? They're 9-0.
Yeah, why wouldn't they? They're in the range.
They're not bowl eligible.
But that's because of that technicality.
Because they moved from the FCS to the FBS.
But I would have let them play anyway. That's because of a stupid technicality. So
but that's what I'm saying. That's part of my thing.
I think that technicality is a stupid rule to begin with. So yeah, why aren't they?
They're Division I school, and aren't they in the rankings? The top 25?
I don't.
I'm pretty sure 24.
Did they get in now?
So they would be eligible for it.
I don't know if
but they're not.
They were at some point.
But yeah,
I thought they were in the college football rankings. That's what I thought last week because I thought I saw them in there.
Yeah, but
I
that's
mean,
not what he's saying.
Yeah, even if they are, they automatically know they could go undefeated for the rest of the year.
So you're telling me like Coastal Carolina wouldn't be able to?
No, you got to hear him out, John.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So Jacksonville State and James Madison both moved this year from the FCS to the FBS, right? So from where like North Dakota State and South Dakota State is to
they jumped up conference.
They jumped up a division within D1. So because of that, by NCAA rule, they have to wait. I want to say it's 2 years. I think it's a couple of years to be bowl eligible in college football, and they're 9-0 with a win over Virginia.
That's weird.
Yeah. No, and that's the complaint right now is that they and Jacksonville State are. I think is Jacksonville State undefeated or they have like one loss?
No, they got their ass kicked in the first game of the year.
Did they? Okay, so they have one.
But
still, they have like a what would normally be a bowl eligible criteria, other than the fact that they are restricted from moving up. So everybody's like,
I never knew that.
Yeah, everybody. That's part of the big complaint here is that they're like James Madison's undefeated with a win over an ACC school, and Jacksonville State has at least been competitive, other than that first game of the year. Has been competitive in their games and meets every other piece of criteria, but neither of them are allowed to play in a bowl. Now,
I never knew that.
Supposedly, if it comes down to it, they're going to let them play. If it comes down to not having enough bowl eligible teams, which at this point with 31 spots to fill is very, very likely. But yeah, that's
TV
part of it stupid.
Any TV network rep is watching this saying, y'all dudes need to shut the hell up right now. Just let's make our dough because everybody.
Let us make our money.
I love the dough more than you know. Hey, gotta let them know.
We're gonna be all over James Madison campus. Be like, yeah, what they said.
Yeah.
Smalls, man.
We need to be. They're gonna, and then UCF's gonna be like, yeah, put them in.
Put them in.
Because UCF is the national title champions of
2017 national champions. Everybody knows that.
One of the greatest college football games or halves, I should say, in the last 15 years. And but UCF snuck in there right between Georgia and Alabama.
Thanks to Auburn sitting 21 starters. Sure, that's good.
Right. 21 NFL, all in the NFL currently starters.
Yeah.
Well, FBS, FCS, get it right and eliminate the bowl games.
Are we really drinking the Wemby Kool-Aid that much? So, I'm a big sports radio guy. So listening to Herd, and on the way home, I'm hearing them talk about there's a poll that came out with best top players in the NBA under 25. Luka Doncic first, Anthony the Ant-Man second, and you got Wemby third already. I mean, what is the body of work that we're going off of here? I know he had a great game, 38 and 10. He keeps doing things that remind us of Tim Duncan. We know what Tim Duncan's career looked like. Even though he never won back-to-back, we can still say the Spurs were sort of a dynasty in their time because they kept competing to be in the NBA Finals and played in many and won many of them that they played. But let's get back to the Wemby thing here for a second. I mean, what do you mean you won't take Luka Doncic over Wemby? I'm listening to Colin Hurd say, no GM I know would ever take Luka Doncic over Wemby. Really? I mean, have we seen Doncic's numbers from this year? Luka's that guy. And I said at the beginning of the season here, before it started, I think that's the MVP this year. He's playing at that level. We have to see if it's going to be sustained. Having Kyrie to pass the ball to boost the assist is a big deal, but he's playing at a high level. I mean, talking about 48, 49, triple-doubles at 48 and 49 points this season already. We know what Luka's capable of. He pretty much took the Mavericks to the Western Conference Final on his own, ran into a team that was obviously a bit too hot from them in Golden State that went on to win the NBA championship. But let's just slow the brakes down a bit here on Wemby, guys. Let's see the body of work first. We know he's going to be special. But honestly, I'm a GM. There's no way I'm passing up on Luka. Even though I might not get the same thing defensively. I don't know if Wemby's going to last. He's a liability. We see what all the big men other than Jokic have had to go through in order for them to continuously get to this point where they have that potential to take their team to an NBA championship. There's been a lot of woes. There's been a lot of injuries. Luckily for our sake, Embiid bounced back and he's been great. And he was the MVP last year. But let's just pump the brakes a bit. I love what I'm seeing, but Wemby, But come on now. You guys going to tell me you're taking Wemby over Luka, knowing what you're seeing from Luka right now? You must be crazy, man.
One. All right, guys, as Jamie alluded to, he was talking about Wembanyama, Luka Doncic. Who's an impressive rookie you remember all time in any sport? Trey, who is it?
Okay, so long before we had the Greek Freak, we had in the NFL a man by the name of the Freak, which was Javon Curse. Javon Curse had a ridiculous rookie year. I know it's a little bit off the board, but so that season, the Titans, 1999, the Titans went to the Super Bowl, and he was the leader of the defense on the team that went to the Super Bowl. They ended up losing by a yard. You know, it is what it is. But impressive rookie year. He was the 16th pick that year. That year, he had 14.5 sacks, which led the AFC in sacks. He had 58 tackles, 15 tackles for loss, batted down 9 balls, forced 8 fumbles, scored a touchdown, started in the Super Bowl, was all-pro as a rookie, defensive rookie of the year every month except for one that season, and he started in the Pro Bowl, and of course, he was defensive rookie of the year. But that dude was special. A lot of this freak shit that y'all see with people like Myles Garrett and some of these folks, and some of that shit they're doing, that dude was doing that shit back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And you have to thank a guy like that for basically building for what we see when you see some of these guys just come off the edge crazy, some of these speed rushers and things such as that. Because he has some crazy moves coming off. He can hit you with a spin. He can go under you. He might just go around you. And then if not, he's coming through, he's strip sacking you. A lot of that shit y'all saw Dwight Freeney end up doing a few years later, that shit started there. We hadn't seen anything not like that. And this isn't, any shade to Reggie White or anybody like that, but it looked different when Curse did it just because of the style. He wasn't the biggest guy. And a lot of times people would say, well, we need DN to be, 320 pounds or some shit back in the 80s and 90s. Then this dude shows up and changed the whole mold of what a DN still looks like now. So, yeah, one of the most impressive off the board ones that I think a lot of people forget about because he spent a lot of his second half of his year injured was the Freak. Jay.
And another a steal from the Philadelphia Eagles from the Tennessee Titans to the Philadelphia Eagles.
And he did it
when he came there, I was like, nice. I was so hyped.
And I was like,
Jay, I think he threw it over to you.
Yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know where I'm going. I'm going straight to the hardwood. I'm a teenage kid. I'm the one kind of like, I grew up loving Nike, and all of a sudden this kid comes over from Georgetown, one of the smallest guys on the court. It's the answer, Allen Iverson. This guy was so electrifying as a rookie. Everybody wanted to be him, not just from the standpoint of how he played the game. He changed the game in terms of his style. He was wearing the cornrows. He was wearing the big chains. He didn't give a shit. He was out there when the commissioner was talking about finding players that they don't dress up and get all suited up. He's like, I don't wear those clothes, man. I'm going to be Allen Iverson wherever I go. The guy was insane. In fact, in his rookie year, he didn't have the cornrows yet. He had the short hair. But one thing I remember from that rookie season, free throw, misses. Allen Iverson comes to the three-point line, goes over Marcus Camby, one hand, suck it, Marcus. Take that. Guy was flying all over the court, crossing everybody over. Jordan was afraid to defend him. Didn't matter who was in front of him. This guy was so tenacious as one of the smallest point guards in the league that it was kind of like the Steph Curry effect where everybody all of a sudden felt, hey, I could beat this guy, including me. So we used to play basketball at my cousin's house. And the court was kind of like where they had this little apartment below their house, and the windows would sort of open out this way. And I didn't realize that someone opened the window. So I was trying to do his crossover, and I'm like, Allen Iverson, the ghost. And I cross over, and when I go to cross, I run straight into the window pane, and it almost knocks me out, and everybody's laughing at me. I'm trying to be all impressive. I got my Iverson shoes on. I'm feeling myself. That day I had to walk off the court in shame. But everybody wanted to be Allen Iverson. Even though it was the Jordan era and the Bulls were the team to beat, he came into the league and almost single-handedly – Philly sucked at the time. Everybody wanted to watch 76ers games. All of a sudden, they're relevant. And let's not forget, he had a 50-point game against the Cavs as a rookie, along with 6 assists and about 5 rebounds. You don't see too many rookies ever doing that. So from my recollection, because I was obsessed with basketball at the time, Allen Iverson was that guy. Of course, he wanted to win Rookie of the Year. So, Mikey, I'm interested to hear whether you're taking it to the diamond or you're taking us somewhere else.
Well, first of all, Jay, I think that was the perfect answer. Anyway, let's see.
Put the dime in the bucket.
I guess my third brain cells over there because I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
His nickname,
answer?
the answer.
The nickname was the answer.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking like, when did they call him the perfect?
The perfect. He was the perfect answer.
Bring Bubba in.
Yeah, bring Bubba in. Come on.
Bring Bubba on the show.
Check in. Still chewing on that brain cell.
I am predictably taking us to the diamond, but I think I'm bringing up a name that some people may have forgotten because he was kind of a flash in the pan after his rookie year, but boy, was his rookie year exciting. Do you guys remember Yasiel Puig?
Hell yeah.
Oh, of course.
The outfielder from the
Yeah,
Dodgers?
He was insane.
He was so fun to
Did
watch.
he disappear though? Like just disappear off the face of the earth?
Well,
Went to the
yeah,
Reds and just basically faded.
He was on the now Guardians Indians for a second. Had an okay.
yeah, he was on the Reds, right, and then he went to Cleveland, and now he's just kind of out of the league. I want to say he's playing in like Mexico or the Cuban league.
I think
or
he's
something.
playing in that new Dubai league or whatnot,
Is he? That would make sense. I mean,
or whatnot.
he's the type to
licking
that would
bats
make
and
sense.
snapping them at the same time.
No, Mike, tell us what story. Tell us why. I want to hear what made you so impressed.
Just to my recollection, I loved watching highlights of the dude as a rookie. Like with the like he's first of all Dodgers, so it's all flash and Hollywood, and he was like, so he hit. I know he hit 319. He hit like 16 homers in 104 games. He could hit. He had a cannon for an arm. Dude's going towards the first baseline playing right field. He would glove the ball, spin, and throw it off balance on a line and throw a guy out at third. And not to mention, even through his, I think by mid-year his rookie year, because he was like a May call-up, I believe. Mid-year way through his rookie year, he already had a walk-up song to hit that was about him. Someone made a song about him, and he used it as his walk-up song.
That's awesome.
Yes, and I remember specifically it said Yasiel Puig #1 in the league, and just I just remember like he came on so strong and was so entertaining and fun to watch, and then he just went away. But yeah, he impressed me so much because he hit the ground running and had seemingly was a 5-tool player out of nowhere because I hadn't ever heard of him before. So, John, what do you think?
So
Mike, to continue on your little who's that? Yasiel Eshem. That is Yasiel Eshem. Poor Yasiel. No, I tell you one thing though about him, like John said, when someone's that strong and they make a bat look like a toothpick, that shit scares me to think about what would happen if he lost his temper around the wrong people.
Right.
I remember one time
who used to break that bat all the time? Who's ever missed always snapping that?
All the steroid guys, pretty much.
No, but there was
Mark
one
McGwire,
person. There was a
Sosa.
where they were like, Sosa used to do it a lot. But I know there was a couple guys.
You might be thinking of Carlos Gomez.
Yes,
who just used to break it after he grounded out.
Yeah,
there was.
Yep, fuck that bet.
But that's the thing is like I think there was one time where Yasiel P was just like this and just snapped it, like he just snapped it in two. Like, I was just like, dude, what the?
Yeah.
Like,
the only person I ever saw do that before was Bo Jackson.
Yeah,
and that tells you how strong he was, because that was, I mean, Bo knows. But John, who you got?
So I got two players. So and there's a reason behind the two players.
Okay,
it's because in 05-06 I was going into my freshman year in high school, but I knew about this player like 2 or 3 years before, watching him in juniors, watching him in the O, watching the other guy in the KHL. And this would be Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin. In 2005, 2006, both of them came out like a lightning bolt. They basically tore up the NHL their rookie year, surpassed all the hype. And Ovechkin got Crosby in the end with 106 points, and Crosby had 102. But it was just like incredible. And Ovechkin was, and it was always a thing that Crosby was too small for the league because he was my height, 5'11", 220 pounds, didn't really have the size where Ovechkin's 6'2". He's just a monster of a guy. And at that time in hockey, guys weren't that big, right? So Ovechkin came in and it was just like a big ass dude. So when I saw that, I was like, damn, Crosby's great. So I always emulated my game off of Crosby because I always thought, like, him and I had like the same similar. We're left-handed. We leg press over 1,200. Like those type of features, I'm like, damn, this dude's like me. Like, only he's like 300 to 300 times better than me, right? So, but that year was incredible. I remember watching that. I was like, damn, how the hell are they doing this? Like, it was just goal. We think of Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid, but these guys broke out in a like all year long. And it's impressive that they didn't win a Stanley Cup, either of them, until they were later in their career. Because that year, I thought instantly one of them two, it would have been amazing for them to finish in Eastern Conference Finals to play each other, go to the Cup.
Yeah.
Those two were great.
They were. It's insane. I mean, the highlights just from their rookie year alone, let alone the rest of their career.
And it goes back to what my rant was, and ultimately when I was talking about how like points don't, like a lot of people kept saying points don't matter. And it's like, how do you not say that? Like, and I get what one guy said. One guy made a good point that the eye test is always good because I'm not a big stats guy, right? It's like what you do on the field. Like you can have great stats. Like Trey and I talked about, the closer for the then Indians had a lot of great stats, but you didn't look at him in the game where he would give up 2 hits and he'd leave runner on second and third and put him in a shit position. So it's like when you look at a stat, he had 55 saves, but how many did he leave in scoring position, right? Like those type of things. So when you look at the eye test, like they did more than just score goals and stuff. They left a presence on the ice. And I think a presence on the ice, a presence on the field, the court, wherever you are, is bigger than that. Because when the guys have to say, hey, watch out for him. We got to watch out for him. Anytime he has the puck, double team. Anytime he's got, okay, we can't let Jerry Rice get open. We gotta screen him. We we gotta put a spy on him. Like those type of guys, like you had to do that. So all these guys, we had to pitch around Puig, Javon Curse. We got to double team him every single time. So it's like all those guys held a presence on the field where you had to look at him. They give him a second take, in my opinion.
I got one quick note on, and I need to say this just because I did the research on this one really quick. That my honorable mention, I'm not even going to go deep into this. It was Randy Moss because I'll never forget his rookie year. That's why I said, depending on how he phrased the question. But one interesting fact of Randy Moss's draft, of course, remember people were like, hey, he's trouble. We don't want to draft him. Randy Moss goes in 1998. He's the 21st pick. Everybody always has the hypothetical of, he wanted to play for the Cowboys, and the Cowboys didn't get him. But when I went to look at the draft, I was like, let me see what receiver went ahead of him. So at number 16 that year, interesting enough, the team that went with a receiver was Kevin Dyson, goes to the Tennessee Titans. That was Kevin Dyson with 1 yard short in the Super Bowl. Imagine if the Tennessee Titans instead said, we're going to go get Moss, and then they would have had Steve McNair with Eddie George and Randy Moss. And that would have been a Randy Moss stretching that would have made that touchdown, and they would have won that Super Bowl.
The game wouldn't have been that close to begin.
It would have been a whole different
they wouldn't have needed to stretch.
Brings up that, I've never, until then, I never thought about it. I've never heard anybody mention this. Everybody was talking about the Cowboys. That was the team right there.
Wasn't that against the Rams too?
It was against the Rams.
Against the greatest show on turf. Like
so
that would have been a huge,
great Super Bowl.
Oh my God, that would have been amazing seeing Randy Moss, and Steve McNair versus, Kurt Warner and one of the
Marshall Faulk and
Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Isaac Bruce.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, you're right. He did come out like a flash in the pan. I was like, God damn, like Randy Moss. But I mean that's a fun topic. I like talking about old guys.
Yeah.
I think it alludes to what I spoke about earlier. Is that we have to respect the old era, right? We have to respect. And I feel like so many times it gets lost in the old era of sports that we're like, oh, if they played in this era, if guys that were back then played in this era, and they played here, don't you think they would have the same sort of advantage as the guys are having now with all the technology, the training, everything, the food, the nutritionists, everything, the money. So I think, we look at it like that and it kind of plays a little factor, but let's wrap this up, fellas.
Who's your honorable mention?
Mine?
Yeah.
He gave the two names.
He gave us two.
Mikey,
Crosby and Ovechkin.
Mikey, sorry, yours. You have an honorable mention?
I do not.
No one did. Mike did. I think Trey just
I have one, and I'm surprised.
You have one?
I know you brought yours up as a tier. Tiger Woods' debut as a rookie in a major, 97 in the Masters in 1997.
Yeah. No, that was incredible. Where he had a 12 shot lead going into the final round. the great thing is he just won and kept winning. And the dominance that he put on the course, it was just he held that presence. Where like if he got out to the lead, even if it was a one-shot lead, guys were like, okay, we're just playing for second at this point.
Yeah,
because he wasn't
Right.
losing it at that point. So that's a good honorable mention because that was an incredible Masters. I didn't watch it because I was too young, but my dad remembers.
well, I was in the middle of a swim meet, and my dad's like, "We have to go." I'm like, "Nope, I'm gonna be late. I'm watching."
And he like looked like a little kid just from high school. Like he was like 100 pounds
his
soaking
shirt was
wet.
like this.
Yeah.
He started sweating in it.
Talk about making an impact. Connor Bedard has made a huge impact on the game of hockey. As an 18-year-old rookie, he was a highly touted prospect coming into the NHL draft this past year. Got picked by the Blackhawks first overall, rightly so. And he's already changed the game. But I'm not necessarily talking about on the ice. What I'm talking about is with ESPN and the way they even handle coverage of hockey. Now, we all know they've got the new TV deal that's partially with TNT, but mostly with ESPN as far as coverage goes. They got Frozen Frenzy, which is awesome. But not only have they grabbed that hockey thing, they've always been the NFL, NBA group. That's always been what their shows love to talk about. That's always what they love to talk about on SportsCenter, all the highlights, all that. And we all know that. We've all accepted that. But Connor Bedard has changed ESPN in the way they approach hockey because I saw on their website today, ESPN.com, that they have a Connor Bedard tracker that is specifically for all of the Connor Bedard games and what he does. They're covering his goals, assists, time on ice, any kind of highlight, and that's for every game. And it looks like it's going to keep going through the rest of his rookie season. So, Connor Bedard, congratulations on not only changing things on the ice by being potentially the next generational star, but for changing things off the ice and changing the way this historic sports media company even approaches covering your sport. I'm interested to see what happens going forward and if he continues to change the way ESPN approaches this for the rest of the time they even can cover hockey.
Let's wrap it up with our final topic here, fellas. Going into a fun one here, and I know that I have probably the most out of all of you guys, and that's which jersey you've owned is your favorite. Like your favorite jersey that you've owned that you can say, like, yeah, I can easily pull that out of the closet. Trey Day, throw it over to you.
To be honest, in my prime, I don't know if you'd have more jerseys than me. I gave away a lot of jerseys and sold
Me
a lot
too.
of jerseys. There's a point where I had over 100 jerseys in life. So, but I guess for me, my favorite is more just because it has, a sentimental value to it. Would have been one of my first jerseys. I don't know if it was my favorite, but it was Christmas, let's say about 1997 or so, and there's a young phenom out of LA named Kobe Bryant. So we were broke. Dad has a broken point. We didn't have no type of money like that. But my godmother, she wanted to look out. So Christmas comes, I'm opening up the jersey, and I'm like, is that an 8 right there I see? Because I'm like, opening it opens right where I see the number 8. I'm like, oh my God. But then I keep opening, I'm like, the fuck, this jersey's black. So I'm thrown off. Now, come to find out, what she had actually got was a new edition that was about to be released, which was the Black Lakers edition. So I'm thinking like, damn, did she give me a fucking knockoff or some shit? This Lakers show up wearing that jersey.
I'm trying to be thankful, but like, damn, man, what the fuck?
So
They don't wear this.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, I want to be so happy. So they
Thanks, Auntie.
Yeah, I was like one of the first kids with a Black Lakers Kobe jersey. So I'm fucking I couldn't wait to fucking go back to school, whatever, January 4th or whatever the fuck at the Christmas break, and just break out that Kobe jersey. I'm like, I couldn't sleep that night because I need to put on my Kobe Black 8 jersey. I've owned, I think, 5 Kobe jerseys, all the different colors. Wow. But that one, it will always be the one.
Ain't that the crazy thing too? Like that's how you used to feel when you were like 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. Like you get a new jersey from Christmas, and like that's how I felt going home, getting my new jersey from Christmas, and I couldn't wait to rock that like new jersey. I'd be like, hey, you got the new jersey? I'm like, yep, yeah, I did.
Yep. John, what jersey you got?
So I know we're only doing one, but I had 3, but I have one that I'm actually gonna do. So the 3 that I did, and I'm gonna go quick on these 2. This is my first NHL game ever, and it's kind of like one of my first ever jerseys. And I hate to say it because it's from Buffalo, but my Buffalo Sabres alternate jersey with the swords. Still one of the best jerseys in hockey. I don't know if everyone can see it.
Best Sabres jersey ever.
And then this jersey was the first. I got this on Marshall Street when they released. I couldn't wait to get the blue jersey for Syracuse. Syracuse doesn't wear blue jersey for basketball, right? So I had to get my blue jersey, my blue Syracuse jersey when they released the new ones. But my favorite jersey of all time has to be my high school hockey one.
Oh, sweet.
And this is my high school hockey one.
What a pill.
And the reason behind this is because it took me a year. I didn't make it my freshman year, so I worked my ass off after a year. And when I walked into my coach's office, this is a jersey he handed me. He said, "What number do you want?" I said, and I didn't want an odd number, right? So I said 26 is fine. And he handed me this, and I envied these because this is the jersey we got right after they won the Section 3. So I was always envious of these, and I've always been a jersey head. So I've always been like, "Oh my god, it's stitched, everything." I was like, "I need this jersey." So that's always my favorite jersey to look at. I always bring it out like I do right now, and like I probably won't put it away for a while. So that's my favorite jersey of all time. It's my own, but I love it. Jay?
So I'm sure you guys are going to think I'm going to come up with a Penny Hardaway jersey. And I did own a white USA 96 Atlanta Olympic white Penny Hardaway jersey that looked rather fly on this guy. But you know where I'm taking this, baby. I had the jersey of all jerseys. We're talking about the Seattle Sonics with the Space Needle on it, forest green, beautiful orange, red, yellow around that Space Needle. Number 40. It's the Rain Man, Sean Kemp in the house, baby. Man, I tell you, I wore that jersey with so much pride. At the time, I couldn't grab the rim in two hands, but we used to have a barrel that we used to roll up under the rim at school, and I would jump off the barrel and give my best Sean Kemp impression and be holding on that thing wearing my jersey like one day, baby, one day without the barrel. But, man, I love that jersey. And so odd, like ever since I got that green jersey, I wanted green shoes. I wanted green shirts. I wanted green pants. I had girlfriends that told me at the time, your green shoes are gross. I was like, you a hater. I just love green.
That's my jersey, bitch.
that jersey just, every time I had it on, I'm like, I am flies up. But, I'm like, I had so many great jerseys. I had a C-Web gold. I was rocking Golden State before any mother trucker knew about rocking Warriors. I had a C-Web Golden State jersey. Tim Hardaway Golden State jersey. I mean, basketball jerseys was it for me. Not really hockey or at the time football. Everything was just basketball oriented for me. But man, did I love me my Sean Kemp Sonic Space Needle jersey. Oh, I would hug it right now if I had it. Mike,
I thought one thing. I thought you were gonna say like, "Oh, I got the jersey," and then they went to OKC.
No, because that was back in the mid '90s. So.
I know. But then they left. I got their jersey and they left.
Mike, are you gonna move a little bit to your left or right to show us?
I will. I will. I'll Vanna White it. Yeah. It just so happens that honestly, I realized it's about halfway through us going through the show. I probably have my 3 favorite jerseys behind me today.
Yeah.
Of course, you gotta love the Cinco Squad from Fans ID.
Yeah.
Cinco Squad 10% off. This being this is, it's my Rangers jersey. It's stitched. It's got the Captain C on it. They traded him 2 months after I got it. Which
I was about to say it has a hilarious story to it.
That's why the front faces forward, even when all the numbers are showing, because he's not on the team anymore. But it has to be this one. It has to be my Mickey Mantle jersey. The Yankees are my favorite team. Baseball is my favorite sport. And for those of you, you can go back and see the full story. I believe we released a clip. It's on show, and we released a clip of my full story as to why I like Mickey Mantle so much. But long story short, one of my dad's favorite players ever was Mickey Mantle, and I was named Michael partially because they wanted a nickname of mine to be Mickey. So that's why between the Yankees and Mickey Mantle being my favorite all-time player, it does hold. And it was a Christmas gift 2-3 years ago for my mom. It just holds that, like John's his jersey, and Jay, you like in Sean Kemp, and Trey, you like Kobe. I think we can see that our 4 jerseys all have kind of a story behind them, which in summation is what makes jerseys so awesome and what makes our favorite jerseys overall, because there's always some sort of personal connection to it.
But you know what? Love them or hate the Yankees, that classic white pinstripe might be the most vintage, recognizable jersey in all of sports. It's beautiful. It really is a beautiful jersey. So that might be up there. Not a Yankee head, but I might be up there. As if you tell me choose one jersey, I'm gonna probably get a white pinstripe jersey because I mean that just epitomizes the history and richness of one of the best franchises in sports history.
Thank you.
It's funny too. I tell my dad all the time, like you spoiled me with this. You got me the authentic Sabres jersey. You could have went with the replica. You got me the stitch. And now I look at all my jerseys. I have to have it stitched. I tell that to Malin all the time. I have to have a stitched jersey. Can't have a replica. But
Angel Reese is the best thing to happen to women's basketball. Let me correct that, though. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are the best thing to happen to women's basketball. Not just women's college basketball, but probably the best thing that's going to happen to the WNBA. The WNBA desperately needs a rivalry. It needs some type of attention. See, a lot of folks are going to look to some of your old rivalries like Magic and Bird or Jordan and Isaiah. These type of rivalries, they need that. The WNBA does not have that, and it lacks it. Let's take the race side here because a lot of people always want to go to the race between the two. But the thing is, the two of these, similar to your Magic and Bird thing, they face each other already in the championship in college. They're probably going to face each other in several championships in the WNBA. Also, you both got a little bit of a flash when you look at somebody like Angel Reese. You got a little more of your shit talker when you talk about Caitlin. I know people say, oh, Angel Reese talks shit, she got in her face, but Larry Bird did the same shit too. And that's where Caitlin Clark is interested in that when it comes to that rivalry because she's out here, she's doing the in-the-face thing, and all it is retaliation. See, this week I'm watching on Twitter and I'm watching a lot of people trying to come for Angel's head, calling her things like a whore and saying she needs to get rid of the eyelashes. And truthfully, I think that's bullshit. Why can't she look beautiful? She's a woman, she's allowed to look beautiful. We watch figure skaters, we watch gymnastics, and I ain't never heard anybody be like, oh, they need to get them out the makeup. But as soon as you sit there and you put a woman and she wants to put a little bit of makeup on to make herself look beautiful, people say she needs to take that off. Why? It's not hurting the game. It's not hurting you. If you want to wear makeup, then that's fine too. But let these women do what they need to do because the WNBA needs this rivalry and they need both of these women to authentically be themselves.
But as we talk about those great players and their jerseys, I think Jamie's going to probably win a jersey if no one catches them because we got Stump the Squad.
Yes, sir. All right, boys and girls, and all you crazy people out there, it's our favorite time in the show. It is Stump the Squad. This is when we ask each other a series of questions to see who we can stump. If you get it right, you get +2. If you get it wrong, you get -2. We know it all, so sometimes we just mess with you guys to make you feel like we don't. Hey, we got to keep it fun, right? But here's the deal. The person who has the most wins at Show 100 gets crowned King of the Stump or King of the Stump the Squad. Whatever you guys want to phrase it at. I kind of like King of the Stump because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get my crown on and win that Stump the Squad 100 show is where we're going to do it. So you guys got to stay tuned up until then. But let's take it away, boys. All right, so you know we have to go to the weekly defending champ from last week. I think Trey won in overtime last week, if I'm not correct.
Yep,
but
OT.
Ain't no OT this week, boys. Trying to get back on that win streak. So, Trey, take it away.
Trey's on that overtime streak, though. Like, he's won, I think, 4 times in a row in overtime.
OT, that's what we do. TD and OT. So, we today did talk about college football games and crazy college football bowl games and stuff like that. So, I'm going to name 4 bowl games. Y'all tell me which one of these never was actually a college football bowl game.
Oh, God.
Okay, so we have the Cigar Bowl, the Popcorn Bowl, the Refrigerator Bowl, or the Salad Bowl.
Salad Bowl.
One more time.
We have the Cigar Bowl, the Popcorn Bowl, the Refrigerator Bowl, or the Salad Bowl. Which one of these 4 was never a bowl game?
Since I love my cigars, I'm going to go Cigar Bowl.
Okay, we're going to Cigar Bowl for John.
If there was, they should bring it back.
The Refrigerator Bowl sounds like it's legit.
Yeah.
What was C?
C was Refrigerator Bowl.
What was B? Sorry.
Cigar Bowl, Popcorn Bowl, Refrigerator Bowl, Salad Bowl.
I think it's Popcorn Bowl.
Okay, we're going Popcorn Bowl for Jay.
I suppose I'll go with my gut and I'll say Salad Bowl.
Okay, and we're going Salad Bowl for Mike. So everybody's going separate answers here. Today, I have successfully stumped John and Mike.
Popcorn.
Yep. So the Cigar Bowl took place from 1947 to 1954 in Tampa.
They need to bring that
Popcorn
back.
Bowl never actually existed. The Refrigerator Bowl took place from 1948 to 1956 in Evansville, Indiana. And the Salad Bowl took place from 1948 to 1955 in Phoenix, Arizona.
Of course, in Phoenix, Arizona.
Where you can't grow the ingredients for salad.
It's called the Cactus Bowl, right?
All right, Jay, who next?
All right, well, Jay, we're cooling them down. You're going next. Just not
All right. Just trying to stop that streak right here. Okay, listen up closely, gentlemen. Of these 4 teams, which one of these NBA teams currently is scoring the lowest point per game average right now at this point in the season? Celtics, Pacers, Hawks, Mavs. Of those 4 teams, who currently has the lowest points per game average right now at this point in the season?
Wait, say it again.
Pacers, Hawks, Mavs.
Hawks.
Yeah, I was going that. I was thinking that too. I'm gonna say Hawks.
I'm going Mavs.
Gentlemen, I have successfully stumped the squad. Those are the top 4 scoring teams in the NBA right now. The Celtics at 120.6.
I knew they were one.
They're the right answer. The Mavs at 120.7. The Hawks at 122.5. And the Pacers coming in at 126 because they've had 2 games where they've almost got to 150.
That's why I thought the Pacers were. Because that's why I thought they were.
I had the Pacers that tipped my tongue, and then Mike said the Hawks. I was like, I haven't seen much of that.
Oh, no, the Pacers are scoring the most. The Celtics are the right
answer.
This is who scored.
Celtics is the right answer.
Yep.
Oh, Celtics is the right. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
the Celtics at 120.6. Yep.
I knew the Pacers were pretty high, being that I have Tyrese Halliburton, and I know he's had I think he's had like a 36-point game and a 40-point game or something like that.
Dude, man.
Yeah, he's crushing it tonight.
He's crushing it.
The Mavs played the slowest pace of those teams. That's my opinion.
Hey, Mikey, help me get the win this week.
No.
Let's go.
No. So going back to college bowl games, which conference has the worst New Year's Six bowl winning percentage since the start of the college football playoff?
So
And which conference has the worst winning percentage in the New Year's Six bowls since the start of the college football playoff? ACC, American, Big 12, or Pac-12?
Pac-12.
has the worst
winning percentage.
Okay.
In New
Year's
Year's bowls.
and you said what was it? ACC?
ACC, American, Big 12, Pac-12.
Big 12.
Pac-12.
Jay says Pac-12.
I'm gonna
Johnson.
go Big 12.
Okay, so we got 2 Big 12s and a Pac-12. This week I have successfully stumped. Said I didn't want to help him. Stumped John and Trey.
Not the conference of you guys saw how excited I was. I knew the answer. You should have just took my lead by my body language.
Yeah, they have a .286 winning percentage. They're 4-10.
Mm-hmm.
And again, before the last question, we have our winner of Stump the Squad, and that is Grandpa J.
Back on track, baby.
I'm at -6. Jamie's at 4, or Grandpa J's at 4. Mike's at -4, and Trey's at -4. So I'll go for shits and giggles.
Okay.
So mine's a college basketball question. And which is the highest seed, I guess you want to say, lowest seed, highest seed, however you want to put it. So highest seed, like, closer to 16 instead of lower.
Biggest number.
Biggest number. That's I always get confused with those sometimes. To ever win the NCAA tournament, which team? NC State, Villanova, UConn, or Indiana?
UConn.
UConn was a 9. They beat Kentucky at 8, but NC State was a double-digit seed, I think. Were they also a 9? I know UConn was an 8. And Kentucky.
I'm going Villanova.
This is Villanova.
UConn, NC State, Villanova, and who?
Indiana.
I don't think Indiana would be that low. I think it's between UConn and NC State, and I'm going to go with my gut and say NC State.
Okay. Well, I have successfully stumped Jamie and Mike. It is Villanova. They
Nice.
were 8. They were an 8 seed. So
Wait, wasn't UConn an 8 seed when they beat Kentucky, or they were the 7? They were the 7.
I think they were 6.
They were 6.
So in
Oh, yeah.
1985, they beat the number 1 seed Georgetown.
Yeah,
In the biggest upset in NCAA basketball history.
they had the 30 about it.
And they were what? They were an 8?
They were an 8 seed.
They're an 8 seed. Is that Ewing? Is that Ewing still at Georgetown?
No,
Okay.
Ewing was in the 90s.
No, you don't. No, you said you don't. No, you don't.
Early 90s. He was like 87. I think it was 88 through 92.
No, he wouldn't
I
be
thought
88, 92. No, because Lonzo Moore started center in Georgetown 1991. He would have been.
Was he
closer.
late 80s? He may have been late 80s, actually, yeah.
No, he's closer because he came in basically around time.
They were 7, John. UConn was a 7, and they beat Kentucky as an 8 because that year Wichita State got the shank because they put Kentucky in that bracket with them. And Wichita State, I think, had lost like 1 game that year or something.
Well, our winner of Stump the Squad, like I mentioned before, is Grandpa Jay getting his 6th victory in episode
1, 2,
84.
3, 4, 5, 6.
We have 16 episodes to go. It's not looking good for me right now. So Grandpa Jay has 6. Trey has 5. 4. Mike has 2. I have 1. Kind of like my fantasy football. So congratulations, Grandpa Jay, on your Week 84 victory.
Yes.
Damn. Well, fellas, I know my final thought of the week is I am the quickest team ever to be eliminated from fantasy football. I was eliminated this week.
I'm happy
a whopping record of 1-8. I'm not gonna make excuses, but like, damn, it was just a tough year.
No,
some of my guys didn't perform, and some of the guys did. It was just like I had a good team, but it was just not performing.
Don't draft Jonathan Taylor next year.
I mean, he's been good since he's came back, though. That's the That's a good thing, though.
The problem is you didn't have him for enough time to win with it.
But I had 2 good backs in Austin Eckler and
DeAndre
Swift.
Eckler. So. Yeah, he lost Eckler.
I lost Eckler in the first game of the season, so I drafted Eckler number 1, my first pick. Taylor wasn't until round number 10. So, well, good luck to you 3 who are still in it and can make it.
Don't worry,
Trey and Grandpa Jay are actually leading the league right now, so they should be.
No, Ricky the Ruler's leading. Ricky the Ruler's 7-1.
Well, you 3 have the highest percentage to make the playoffs right now, and then it's like you 3.
Mikey, you got a must-win against your guy this week, Mikey. You got to pull it off.
Trey, what do you 2 losses?
Negotiations of trades.
I'm working on a counter.
My emotions, bro. I put together an offer you can't refuse, and John was like, don't want it. I'm like, you're eliminated. What are you talking about?
We're not helping. No. Eliminated teams don't
I'm
have
still
to help.
fighting because I want to get rid of this sign that I have.
John, send me DeAndre Swift.
I don't know where it is. I've lost it, but I want to get rid of this sign and send it to someone.
Listen, as
I
long
guess
as
I
you
deserve it since I got eliminated, but I mean.
But as long as you don't finish last at the end, it doesn't matter.
Yes, I'm gonna play my ass off. So
there you go.
But any final thoughts heading into the weekend? We got a lot of sports going on. Michigan may be out of the college football playoff. We'll know today what happens as Trey pump fist about that. But any final thoughts before we head into the weekend?
Yeah, come on, Liverpool. Draw at Luton Town last week. You better make Brentford look like they don't belong in the Prem.
Liverpool. Go Irish, go Heels, and of course, go Rangers hockey.
Shout out to my cousin Connor Stallions. Shout out to my homie, big homie.
Collusion.
He hooked me up.
Big Ten Commissioner. Big Ten Commissioner.
Tampering.
But next week we have a special guest on our episode. Idris Taki will be joining us, so make sure you tune in. He'll be with us all show, going through the topics. Probably replacing me because I have 3 brain cells right now. So, but we'll see you here next week, everyone. Episode 85. Let's see if we can knock Jay off the winner streak. So we'll see you here next week. Cinco Squad out.